All right. I told Nate he's violating the 2 press conferences within 48-hour rule. So this press conference is done in protest. Um, I'll just put that out there. It is. Even Bruce said it's too much. Like, come on, jeez. All right, guys, let's knock it out.
Well, do you put any stock into the difficulty of elevation for playing conditions?
I mean, I'm not a doctor. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I have no idea. I mean, we're going to go there. I've played there a bunch of times over the years, and yeah, I mean, guys will tell you they get winded, but usually they battle back, and I mean, no, I'm sure there's lots of theories on it. I don't know. We're going to go there and give it a rip. We're not going to overthink that stuff.
So both teams being unbeaten at home is much more a testament to the team themselves.
I mean, I would say so, and maybe there is something to it. I don't know. I mean, I just haven't taken time to research that because it's kind of outside of my mental capabilities. So yeah, we're gonna go there and playing 2 really good teams on the road, and you guys are informing me they haven't been beaten, so obviously it's gonna be a great challenge.
So have you ever gotten to the point where you even think about like tweaking the rotation when if guys are calling out, or do you have staffers who are at this thing that?
No.
Nope. As far as you go deeper, more often, sooner.
No, we're just we'll watch it play out in front of us, and we'll react accordingly. I mean, and hopefully everybody will be healthy, and we'll have options. That would be the best case scenario for me.
You've obviously been one of the teams that's been able to stay healthy. I mean, Colorado's dealt with it, USC's dealt with it. A lot of these teams, Stanford had some guys out and limited. What have you tested? Maybe why?
I mean, I think the first thing is you have to give credit to your training staff and your strength coach. I mean, J Rock and Rounds do a great job, and they've been around for a long time. And just the medical setup overall is really good at Arizona. That's number one. And number two is probably just being a little bit lucky. I mean, you get a little bit lucky. I mean, there's lots of bodies, there's lots of feet on the ground, there's lots of guys in the air. So sometimes you just have to come out on the lucky side of some of those injury types of things. So the combination of those 2 things usually are it.
The post-game press conference is key after both the Colorado and Utah games. You said something to the effect of they're going to have something for us when we go up to their place. As you enter the back half of this Pac-12 schedule, a lot of teams are going to kind of want that revenge factor after losing here. What does that play into it?
I mean, I'm sure they didn't feel too good about how the games went there, and they probably want to, a little bit of a revenge factor, and that's normal. That's human nature, and it's obviously we're aware of that, and it's going to be big games for both teams, and so hopefully our guys come out and understand how this game can impact our season, and we come out and play well. I mean, that's all I can hope for.
How about just reflecting that? I mean, whether it's elevation or not, I mean, I think you've only, because of the schedule, you've only been to both these 2 places 3 times, lost twice. I mean, tough places to play.
I'd say tough places to play. Road's hard to play on, and like I said, there might be something into it, Bruce. But like you're asking the wrong guy. I mean, there's great professors at the University of Arizona, and I know you have access to the internet. You can look them up, and you can talk to them about the physiological aspect of playing at elevation. They'll know more than I will.
I have actually.
There you go. It's beautiful. It's
actually
good.
Colorado when they joined the league, and one of the things they said was that it's not bad the first 24 hours, but it gets worse.
Oh, it's just you're great. Yeah, beautiful. Propaganda. I love propaganda. Like,
so those Saturday games.
Bruce, not only you jinxed me on Saturday, and then now you're like throwing bad news at me. Like, I guess I don't like the direction this is going. What happens tomorrow? So I don't know. We'll guys, we're gonna go there and play the game. We're not gonna overthink it.
About this time last year is when you made the decision to move Pella to the bench and have Cedric in the starting lineup just to change things up. Has there been any consideration to changing the lineup this year? No need to.
I mean, I feel like I'm comfortable where I'm at, and if I'm comfortable where I'm at, that's usually a pretty good thing.
Does it help that the 3 guys that you've had on the bench have all been providing what you're looking for from them?
I mean, they're really good players, and are there instances or circumstances where they're good enough to start? For sure, there's no doubt about that. But sometimes you have to make a decision, and they're not always easy decisions, and you have to trust that decision. And I feel good about the decisions we've made.
Has KJ been more aggressive these last really 3 home games where he's scoring double figures?
I mean,
offensively?
maybe it's just a little bit of maturation and experience. He's gathered over the season. I mean, he is a freshman. So I'm sure he's getting better and more comfortable, but there's been no different approach in how we've coached him, or no conversation telling him he needs to turn it up. I think he's had a great freshman year, you know. So yeah, I'm really proud of him and his contributions.
Tom, you talk about luck playing a role in the health of the team. What role does luck play in just the overall success of the squad?
Man, Ken Palm has a formula for that, and Bruce can handle the physiology. You can handle luck with Ken Palm. I mean, Ken Palm's a great guy, and you can literally his email is right on the website. Ken Pomeroy. He's actually a weatherman. That's how he started in this. He's a meteorologist, and you guys probably know the backstory. Great guy, and he has a luck formula that I would not even be able to begin with where he came up with it or why. So I mean, listen, there's luck in everything. There's luck in all of our lives every day. I mean, it's part of our everyday lives. I mean, walking down the street, driving a car. I mean, luck. It's all around us, and so I don't know. I wouldn't be able to equate it, but I don't want to leave our success up to luck. I want to leave our success up to our preparation and our cohesion as a team. To me, is way more important than worrying about luck.
You're 261 out of 362.
Oh, nice. Thank you. There you go.
Bottom
Then,
100 in luck.
oh my gosh. Wow. Unlucky. Yeah.
At this rate, I'm probably stop.
Yeah.
Bad news too.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, how is Keyshawn doing along those lines?
Seems fine to me. I mean, he was fine. I mean, the injuries weren't the reason we changed the lineup. We just found a lineup that worked, and so he's fine. And I think he's practicing today. So
I just didn't know if that was one of those things where sometimes the next day it swells up.
yeah, I mean, I have not had any reports on that suggest anything bad. So I think we're business as usual.
How has Mo's progression been as the season's gone on?
I mean, it's been good. He's good. He's a freshman. He's had some really good games, and he's had some other games, where, he probably could have done a few things better here and there. But I think all in all, he's trending in the right direction. And, I still think he's got a lot left in the tank, and I think he's got more to offer this team this year. So I would be happy to see him take another step forward for sure.
Tommy, as a coaching staff, you guys are approaching every game with the same amount of importance. But we heard from players kind of between that Washington and Oregon State game, that Washington State and Oregon State game, that maybe they didn't approach those games with the same sense of urgency. This week, it really feels like there's no option. There's the sense of urgency because of where these teams are and how they play at home. Are you seeing that urgency this week?
I mean, listen, we played the game Sunday night. I was with you guys. I went home, and I haven't even seen my players. So, I mean, I'll find out in practice this afternoon where we're at with all that stuff. But, I expect us to have a mature approach. And, hey, we lost 2 games to a very good Washington State team that played good, and an Oregon State team that played good and made all the timely baskets, they needed to make. And that happens sometimes. So I'm not overthinking it one way or another. And there was no come to Jesus meeting or anything like that. And so, no, I'm hey, I just know, listen, maybe we go out, our guys do play uninspired. I don't know. I wouldn't expect that. But if they do, I guess it happens. But, we also could go out and play really inspired and lose, because these are going to be hard games. So, I mean, that's what we're going to prepare for.
Totally different circumstance than last year, but at least with the guys you have back, do you think maybe going up there again is going to be something they remember the way that game played out last year?
I mean, I hope so. But you're saying it's been so much time between then and now that, I don't know. I think our guys know Utah's a good team. I know our players respect Utah. I know our players respect Colorado. So, I know our guys are smart enough to know it's going to be a challenge, and that we're going to have to play well to have a chance.
That pass that Jaden Bradley made, the bounce pass to follow, cutting down the lane for the dunk, how difficult a pass is that to make in that bounce?
I mean, going back, I'm pretty sure I remember the play. Talk about, yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough sometimes making, passes in the paint, and you prefer people throw the ball up to 7-footers, but sometimes the only window is down low, and so Jaden is a good passer in tight spaces and has a knack for making good plays there. So I'm glad it worked out, but sometimes there's too many bodies, and jump stop and kicking it out isn't a bad option either. It's just you just got to read the situation in that moment.
What is Mo's next step forward?
Just to probably finish a little bit better around the basket, defensively, understand how his size impacts the game at all times, and get comfortable, in help scenarios. It's a 5 man. You got to solve a lot of problems for a defense, because usually you're the last line of defense. And so, it takes some courage sometimes to understand what's going on the court, but, maybe your guy's lifting up to set a ball screen, but the action's happening on the left side, and you need to not worry about your guy and go protect the rim. I mean, that takes some courage, to be able to do that and experience. So just those types of things, I think, just kind of natural basketball things.
What are your protocols with your bigs in those instances about putting the ball on the floor? Sometimes we see him put it on the floor and it gets taken away from him. I mean, how do you teach him that aspect?
I mean, you know, obviously I don't like our guys to dribble and get the ball taken from the floor, but I also know that in basketball, you have to dribble or they call traveling if you're moving. So like it's just a feel for the game. Like I mean I don't know how to answer that question. Like I love it when our guys are able to back down and play 1-on-1, but if they draw help, they've got to be able to facilitate and move the ball. We have an advantage somewhere else. So it's stuff we work on all the time. But I mean I know Umar had one last game where he probably over dribbled a little bit and one of their guards was able to come down and take the ball from him and he's got to be better than that.
When it happens. Last question. Last question. Okay.
Oh, well, I
You
was
guys
just
are all
gonna ask
gentlemen.
about Utah. Utah now, I had a couple of questions along those lines, but particularly with Carlson, you've had trouble with big guys shooting threes. Carlson was only 1 for 6 here, and he's playing like a 4 now when they go hit other big. And what was the difference in that game, and what do you expect, maybe up there?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's obviously a great 3-point shooter, and he's capable of making threes, and he's got good size, and they put him in tough to guard situations, and so you gotta you gotta have a plan, and one of the plans is you have to be great with your big recovering on those types of scenarios, which they don't get a ton of experience doing. And the other plan is you got to be willing to maybe switch a few things here and there. I mean, so we'll have plans for that, but we'd also know he could play the 4, but they very well could play him at the 5 some, trying to invert our defense a little bit. I'm sure that they'll explore those options. I mean, he's a good coach, and he knows how to utilize a good player. So we're going to have to be prepared for a real challenge there and guarding him. Carlson's a really good player.
Thanks, Rich.